The story of Ruth and Boaz is a tale of loyalty, faith, and divine providence found in the Old Testament book of Ruth. Here's a summary of the story. Chapter 1, The Journey of Ruth and Naomi. During the time of the judges in Israel, a famine strikes Bethlehem, leading Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons Mahlon and Chilion to move to Moab. Elimelech dies, and his sons marry Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. After about 10 years, both sons die, leaving Naomi without her husband or sons. Hearing that the famine in Bethlehem is over, Naomi decides to return home. She urges her daughters-in-law to stay in Moab and remarry. Orpah reluctantly agrees, but Ruth refuses, pledging her loyalty to Naomi with the famous words, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." Chapter 2. Ruth meets Boaz. Ruth and Naomi arrive in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. To support Naomi, Ruth goes to glean in the fields. She happens to work in the field of Boaz, a wealthy and kind relative of Elimelech. Boaz notices Ruth and learns of her loyalty to Naomi. He instructs his workers to leave extra grain for her and ensures her safety. Ruth returns home with a bountiful harvest, and Naomi recognizes Boaz as their kinsman redeemer, a relative who has the right to redeem their family property and ensure their welfare. Chapter 3. Ruth's bold request. Naomi devises a plan for Ruth to seek Boaz's protection. She instructs Ruth to wash, put on her best clothes, and go to the threshing floor where Boaz is working. Ruth is to wait until Boaz has finished eating and drinking, then lie at his feet and uncover them, a gesture of humility and request for protection. Ruth does as instructed. When Boaz wakes up and finds Ruth at his feet, she asks him to spread his garment over her, symbolizing his role as her protector and redeemer. Boaz is moved by her loyalty and agrees, but mentions that there is a closer relative who has the first right of redemption. Chapter 4. Boaz redeems Ruth. Boaz approaches the closer relative, presenting the opportunity to redeem Elimelech's property and marry Ruth. When the relative declines, fearing it might jeopardize his own inheritance, Boaz gladly steps in. Boaz publicly redeems the property and marries Ruth. They are blessed with a son, Obed, who becomes the grandfather of King David, placing Ruth in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Themes and significance. The story of Ruth and Boaz is celebrated for its themes of loyalty, kindness, and divine providence. Ruth's devotion to Naomi and Boaz's kindness reflect the values of faithfulness and compassion. Their story highlights how ordinary lives and acts of loyalty and kindness can play a crucial role in God's larger plan. This biblical narrative, while short, is rich with cultural and spiritual significance, showing how acts of kindness and loyalty can lead to unexpected blessings and a pivotal place in history.